Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Despite the Senate's decision to return the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte, House prosecutors maintain that the process remains fully constitutional.
Senate President Cheese Escudero clarifies that the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte is far from over.
Lawyer Israelito Torion wants the Supreme Court to stop the impeachment trial against Vice President Sara Duterte.
And Alas Pilipinas stays in contention for a semi-final spot at the AVC Challenge Cup after overpowering New Zealand in a strong performance.
First in the news, House prosecutors fire back at the Senate, insisting that the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte is constitutional. Here's the report.
House prosecutors maintain that the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte fully complies with constitutional requirements. Batangas Representative Jervy Luistro said the prosecution panel is puzzled by the Senate's decision to remand the case back to the House of Representatives and will seek further clarification.
Ang prosecution panel po ay nalalabuan dito sa naging order ng impeachment court kagabi. So we resolve to seek the clarification of the impeachment court.
On Tuesday, the Senate voted to return the impeachment complaint to the House, requesting certification that it does not violate constitutional provisions. Before the final complaint that ultimately went to a vote, 3 other impeachment complaints had already been filed against Duterte. The Constitution prohibits subjecting an official to more than one impeachment proceeding within a year.
With respect to the first order about the certification pertaining to our compliance with the Constitution in filing the impeachment complaint, we maintain our position. Sumunod po kami fully and strictly to the requirements of the Constitution. We did not violate the 1-year prohibition rule.
House Prosecutor Joel Chua argued that it is the Senate's action, remanding the case, that is unconstitutional.
Nakakalungkot dahil maliwanag naman po sa rules on impeachment na sila rin mismo ang gumawa na dapat sila ay aakto na impartial o neutral. Pero ngayon po parang hinaharang po nila ang demokrasya po dito sa ating bansa.
Akbayan Party List Representative-elect Chel Jokno also questioned the legality of the Senate's move. He noted that by the time the Senate decided to remand the case, the senators had already taken their oaths as impeachment court judges and were no longer acting in their capacity as lawmakers. Jokno described the move as a clear case of grave abuse of discretion.
Yun na nga yung pinagtatakahan namin na kung pwede ba mag-file ng motion ang isang judge. I think the ball should be thrown back to the Senate. And the Senate should be, we should call on the Senate to conduct the trial as the Constitution commands. Inabandonan nila yung Constitution, and that is really a clear grave abuse of discretion.
Senate President Cheese Escudero clarifies that Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial is far from over, following the Senate's controversial move to return the articles of impeachment to the House of Representatives. Here's a report.
The return of complaints against Duterte to the lower chamber does not mean the Senate is done with the case. That's according to no less than Senate President Cheese Escudero. Escudero said proof of this is their issuance of summons related to the impeachment, particularly the one for the VP, which instructs her to answer to the articles of impeachment within 10 days. She also has to face the Senate tribunal on the date and time set by the presiding officer.
Pakibasa po yung siguro hindi rin panawagan ko dun sa 5 kasamahan naming dakdak pa rin ang dakdak sa dismissal. Nakalagay doon without dismissing, without terminating. So the impeachment court retains its jurisdiction. To my mind, that's why we issued summons. How can we issue summons if we do not have jurisdiction? So walang naaksayang panahon dahil nagawa namin lahat ng tinakdang gawin.
Another order the Senate Impeachment Court issued is for the lower chamber to release an attestation that they have followed the constitutional mandate limiting verified impeachment complaints to only one within the year. They do not have a deadline, but Escudero said Congress is duty-bound to obey.
Hindi kami magkapantay pagdating sa bagay na ito. Hindi ito House at Senate kung saan co-equal ang mga ahensyang yan. Wala sa lugar para sa akin ang Kamara na hindi sumunod sa ipinag-uutos ng impeachment court.
Escudero insisted that they saved the 20th Congress time and resources by making sure the House prosecution has already answered queries before holding trial. He also defended their order to the next Congress to attest that they will be picking up from where they left off.
May basehan at karapatan ng Senado. Tanungin ang papasok na Kongreso. Gusto pa ba nyo at interesado pa ba kayo? Dahil yung gumawa nito ay yung nagdaang Kongreso. And again, the 19th House cannot bind the 20th House. Ang paghalal ng panel of prosecutors para sa akin ay hudyat o senyal na interesado pa rin sila na ipursige ang impeachment complaint na ito.
Escudero said whoever has questions on the Senate's procedures could always go to the Supreme Court for answers.
The Office of the Vice President has received the summons issued by the Senate Impeachment Court. The OVP confirmed that it received the summons at around 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Based on the summons, the Vice President must file her answer to the articles of impeachment within a non-extendable period of 10 days from receipt. She is likewise ordered to appear before the Senate Impeachment Court at a date and time to be set by the presiding officer. VP Duterte is currently on a family trip to Malaysia.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Senate President Chis Escudero has appointed Attorney Reginald Tongol as the official spokesperson of the impeachment court.
He now joins us to shed light on the court's next steps. Good morning, Attorney Reggie.
Good morning sa inyong dalawa.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you
Thank
again.
you for joining us.
All right.
Let's get right to it.
It's my pleasure
Of
to be here.
course.
So should we get it straight?
Sure.
All right, let's start. Attorney, the word for the day, remand, return versus, ano yung isang word nila?
Ano?
Remand versus return. Oo, di ba? So, why did the Senate, or let me rephrase myself, the impeachment court choose this route? There was another option by Senator Coco Pimentel, which is advisories or notices. I know you're going to tell me this is a political exercise, this is a collegial body nagbotohan, pero it was not put out there to a vote. Ano ba ang difference in outcomes when you say, rinemand mo sa Congress versus yung kay Senator Coco? Anong possible scenarios if you took the other route?
Okay, tumbukin ko lang no, yung sa sinasabi mo kanyang political process. This is not a purely legalistic process.
Yeah.
Kailangan merong political accommodations na mangyayari. So in order for Senator Judge Bato de la Rosa to amend his motion at the time from dismissal to a remand from Senator Judge Cayetano, it has to have a consent of the movant. So at that time, hindi nasa floor yung motion ni Senator Judge Coco Pimentel na advisory. So it wasn't taken to a vote, katulad ng sinabi mo kanina. So yun yung nangyari sa deliberations. So, kasi merong issue. Merong mga binring up si Senator Judge De La Rosa na tungkol sa infirmity ng articles of impeachment. So, instead of dismissal, it was the wisdom of the impeachment court at that time, after due deliberations, to just instead remand it to ask for the House of Representatives to comply as to the certification that there was no violation of the one-year bar rule.
Mga clarification ang hinahanap.
Clarification, yes, pero through a resolution, because as you know, in a court proceeding, it has all to be a formal communication.
But yung initially, wait lang, before na, yung kay Bato was to dismiss. What happens kung dinismiss to? What would have been then the action of the impeachment court?
I think the impeachment court at that time wouldn't be prepared to discuss in length that proposal of moving for the dismissal. That's why tumayo kagad si Senator Judge Cayetano bago pa magkaroon ng further debates on the matter para lang to shorten the proceedings and to give a concession na wag na lang munang i-dismiss, because Senator Judge De La Rosa also considered at that time na baka hindi niya makuha yung numbers when it comes to the dismissal motion. Kaya he needed to amend it at that time.
So, shed some light on this point, Attorney Reggie, not saying na, of course, yung mga legal luminaries are saying na, bakit parang ang mga senator judges ay nag-aabogado ngayon doon sa accused, no, which is si VP Sara Duterte, when in fact, all the legalities or matters na defense na dapat i-discuss should be raised by the alleged, no, or the respondent.
This is an oversimplification of things, pero we value those views by the different constitutionalists or lawyers or even commentators. Kasi, as sinasabi ko nga, this is a political process. So we are getting a glimpse of what it entails to deliberate a certain motion. Sa ordinary collegial judicial bodies like the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals or CTA, ganito sila sa loob ng korte, hindi lang natin nakikita. So, doon, pag meron nakalatag sa kanilang motion o petisyon o complaint, determine nila kung sufficient ba ito for us to act on it. So, they will either take the stand of the movant or they will take the stand of the opposer para makita nila kung ano yung mas tamang legal theory na mas magiging sa kanila okay sa kanilang konsensya on the action that they will undertake. And that is what we had a glimpse 2 nights ago when the impeachment court deliberated. Kaya lahat tayo nag-aaral.
Yes. Kasi di ba sinasabi, for an ordinary person like us, would say na, of course, bakit pag tinanong mo ang House Prosecution Panel na, did you guys violate any rule, constitutional rule? Siyempre, ang sagot namin, hindi. So why do you need to ask that question?
Kailangan kasing meaning yung question
yung, di ba yung kaya ni-remand? Those, one of the two reasons bakit ni-remand yung impeachment of the case.
Kailangan kasing tanongin yun kasi sa Section 3, Number 5, Article 11 ng Constitution, nakalagay doon na dapat hindi pwede mag-initiate ng within 1 year. This was upheld already by Francisco versus House of Representatives and Gutierrez versus House of Representatives. However, ang hindi binabanggit ng some of the constitutionalists or yung mga ibang mga commentators is the fact that the Senate was given authority by the Constitution na sila lang yung mag-try. And when we say try under Nixon versus United States na decision that was cited in the 2 cases of the Supreme Court that I said, sinabi doon na ang ibig sabihin ng try is not just yung labanan ng bakbakan or presentation ng evidence, wala halos limitation ang pagtatry except for 2, which is the 2/3 vote and the penalty na i-impose doon sa impeach, which is removal and disqualification. Yun lang. However, in the House of Representatives, when they were given the power by the Constitution to initiate the articles of impeachment, they are given several limitations. One, dapat 1/3 yung vote, diba? Either by plenary or by committee, tapos ipa-plenary, diba? Ang pangalawa dyan is yung 1-year bar rule. So in the attestation of the articles of impeachment, there was only an attestation as to the first, the compliance with the 1/3 bar, 1/3 votes. Pero walang attestation or certification regarding sa compliance with the 1-year bar rule. However, last night, yesterday, nagpasa na yata yung Kongreso ng resolution. So, but it wasn't yet officially transmitted to the court. And as you know, pag sa korte, kailangan formal lahat. So, it has to be formally transmitted as a compliance to the court so that the court will be able to receive it formally.
That's what I wanted to ask you, Attorney Reggie. You asked, kasi syempre hindi kami lawyers, pero from a perspective of taong bayan, the presiding officer was asking for clarifications. When you mean clarifications, pag sumagot ang Kongreso officially in its capacity as prosecutors, will at face value the presiding officer accept the reply, or will it again be put to a vote?
Under sa rules ng Senado, no, it wasn't the presiding officer Escudero ang nag-move noong tungkol sa issues, no. It was the impeachment court. The impeachment court, by a vote of 18-5, said that we needed additional information to attest kung meron bang violation ng one-year bar rule at if this Congress will be able to bind the next Congress. In order to settle those issues, we need a resolution from the 20th Congress that the actions of the 19th Congress will be crossovered or will be adopted by the next Congress. So it was the presiding officer has the power to already have a resolution on that on his own. However, instead of doing that, he submitted it to the vote of the plenary or to the senator judges. So may option siya under the rules to do that. Kasi mas okay naman yun for a lively debate.
So the question is, can the House of Representatives bind the 20th Congress, and will that be sufficient enough for the impeachment court na sabihin ng 19th, we guarantee tutuloy namin to sa 20th Congress? And what if 20th Congress affirms this, pero the 20th sa Senate naman ayaw nila? What happens then?
Okay, ibahin natin yung concept no sa Senate, parang once the court acquires jurisdiction over a matter, we adhere to the principle na yung adherence jurisdiction, meaning hindi na pwedeng mawala ng jurisdiction yung korte. And that was the purpose of putting in the order that the impeachment complaint is not dismissed and that the case is not terminated doon sa order ng impeachment court. Kasi nga, they want to clarify na hindi ito nagtatanggal ng jurisdiction ng Senate impeachment court. Pero on the 20th Congress naman, kasi iba yung nangyayari sa House. Sa House talagang totally nadi-dissolve talaga sila pag nagkakaroon ng election every 3 years. So, because of that, kailangan yung next na Congress, which is the 20th Congress, has to be able to ratify the actions of the previous Congress. It is just a matter of having a official documentation na they will still pursue this case come the 20th Congress.
Okay, so right now, what happens next? The House already deferred yung impeachment case na niremand sa kanila ng House of Representatives, and at the same time adopted the resolution saying na wala naman silang violate na constitutional rule. So what happens next? Ano na mangyayari? Kasi sabi nila ngayon nasa bola na ng HOR yung impeachment, but a lot of people are saying ang impeachment trial is in limbo.
We have to highlight the fact that the impeachment trial is not in limbo. As the impeachment court issued summons yesterday, which was received by the Vice President Duterte, magko-continue magra-run yung time niya to file an answer, which is 10 days. So until June 21, but because it's a Saturday, it will be Monday, June 23, where we expect the answer or whatever motion that they will file. And after the answer, the prosecution has 5 days to file their reply or until June 28. So tamang-tama lang. Whether or not may order to remand or to refer back the articles.
Same timeline.
Same timeline pa rin. So, yun yung hina-highlight ng impeachment court. Walang nawala sa parehong panig. Pareho silang umaandar pa rin yung kanilang mga pwedeng legal remedies.
At least,
Pero,
go ahead.
I want to clear that out also because sinasabi ni Congresswoman Luistro na they also want to clear that out sa Senate. Bakit nawala, naging moot and academic yung kanilang readings of the articles of impeachment. And will that be pursued pa rin after all of this, bago mag-proceed yung trial?
Doon sa deliberasyon tungkol sa presentation, I think it was Senator Judge Pimentel who raised that issue. Ang botohan or ang ruling ng court doon is wala ng presentation because of the fact meron pang mga certification na hinihingi. So kung sa susunod na convening ng impeachment court, magkakaroon pa ba ng presentation o wala? Parang wala na kasi based sa rules ng Senado, kailangan mauna yung presentation. However, nung nire-raise yun ni Senator Judge Pimentel, wala na sa rules yung inadapt yung inadapt niya kasi yung rule sa US
Yes.
eh. Tinanggal niya yung isang buong section ng pagbabasa. So kaya naman ang ginawa ng impeachment court was to refer to the Committee on Justice and then consider the actions of the court that night na wala ng presentation kasi nga it is as if the court already took cognizance that of the existence of the impeachment articles.
So regarding the timeline, at least may clarity tayo dyan, no? But the other question na rin-raise, I think this was Attorney Theodore Te, was saying that, sige, the timeline may still remain the same no matter ano yung avenue na tatahakin. But the question is, parang binigyan daw ng Senator Cayetano ng option ang defense kasi political move eh. In the future, to use as a technicality na hindi nyo sinunod ang process by yung articles of impeachment na pinagbasa. And later on, possibly the defense could use this as a tactic to totally junk the entire complaint altogether.
So, the impeachment court, like any other court, does not address the opinions of outsiders in the court. Only those properly filed in the court can the court act. Kaya passive usually ang mga korte. Hindi na siya, ito yung pagkakaiba ng Senado bilang active na nagpapasa ng legislasyon. Doon sa role naman ng korte na parang kung wala kang pinasa, bahala ka. Nakuha mo, it's not up for the court to give direction kung paano nyo gagawin yung trabaho nyo bilang mga abogado. So, doon sa sinasabing yon, hindi namin alam kung paano gagawin ng depensa at prosecution. Lahat tayo, pwede tayong magbigay ng opinion natin kung paano, but that is only an opinion. It might be persuasive to some of the senator judges, but some of the senator judges also might see it as nothing. No? So, depende yun sa kanila. That's why it's always the wisdom of the senator judges in the impeachment court.
Let's simplify the question lang. Did the impeachment court, by doing this, if ever, it's still according to the rules? In other words, hindi kayo nag-circumvent, hindi kayo lumagpas sa rules, parang magkakaroon ng technicality. Let's just from that standpoint.
Yun yung maganda doon sa sa rules kasi nga ang unang interpretasyon doon kailangan ng pagbabasa. Nung binasa namin at kinumpara yung rules ng Senado ng US na talagang inadapt natin, 90% yung Senate rules natin ngayon, yung Resolution 39, yung particular section na yon ng pagbabasa tinanggal talaga. So by intention of the one who, I think it was Senator Coco at the time who sponsored the Resolution 39 or the Senate Rules on Impeachment.
2019 ba to?
No, I think it was in 2011.
2011.
Oo, so siya yata yung tinanggal yon. So if you apply statutory construction sa mga abogado, maalalaman yan, dahil tinanggal yun, ibig sabihin, wala na dapat. Intention yun na wala. Although, hindi natanggal yung reference ng presentation of the articles in the other sections. For one reason or the other, we didn't know. So, the impeachment court, based on that information and based on the textual reading of the rules, sabi nila, sige, pwede na nating i-waive to. Kasi sabi ko nga, this is a political process. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. So there has to be a concession. Iko-convene ba tayo o hindi? Pero napaaga pa nga ang convening eh. Diba? Naging June 10 pa
instead of 11. But let's say, for example, all goes well according to the process na pinag-uusapan natin ngayon and 20th Congress na at yung pinagdedebatihan pa rin kung tatawid ba to sa 20th Congress or not. Pero let's say for example, tumawid na nga siya sa 20th Congress. Kaagad ba yung yung mga incoming senators magti-take ng oath right away and proceed with the trial?
I think that is the plan. Upon convening of the 20th Congress on July 28th, yun yung isa sa mga gagawin yata, no? However, hindi pa natin nakikita yung official na nakalagay sa order of business ng 20th Congress. And at the same time, at that time, meron na ring mga bagong papasok na House prosecutors, I think. So, on the part of the House as well, we expect na file din sila ng new appearance to the impeachment court para to update kung yung mga bagong House prosecutors.
So kumbaga, August to, we're taking a look at after SONA.
Yung swearing in, baka around that time, baka last week of July or kung yung araw na yon. And if there are any other filings before that time frame, then if the impeachment court has already received the compliance from the House, then by first week of August, baka mag-convene na.
Siya. Oo. Pero yun nga, yung sinasabi ng House of Representatives through Congresswoman Luis Tro, they want to see clarification doon sa mga niremand sa kanila ng Senate. Were they able to send their clarification?
As of this morning, wala pa. No? Kailangan kasi ng formal. Sabi ko nga, kailangan may formal submission. So if ever they will already use the electronic filing, kasi we adopted the electronic filing in the lower courts sa Senate Impeachment Court, then we're expecting ma-email within the day, no, or tomorrow. But of course, it's not up for the court to second guess the actions of the House prosecutors.
So para klaro lang, no, you're looking for two things regarding yung one-year ban.
Correct.
And kung if they can bind the 20th Congress.
Correct. A ratification by the 20th of the actions of the 19th.
So when you mean ratification of the 20th, on behalf of the 20th, the 19th will do this? Or yung mga incoming ang kailangan pumirma din?
Yes, yung mga incoming in the 20th Congress once it is convened. Kasi as of now, hindi pa buhay yung 20th Congress. So pag nabuhay sila on the July 28 upon the doon pa lang sila magkakaroon ng formal action on that.
So that kumbaga yung rini-request ng impeachment court, only one can be satisfied in the immediate, and regarding the 20th Congress, that can only be satisfied during SONA or pag nag-convene na.
Correct. It necessarily entails waiting.
Okay.
So, kasi nga, hindi pa magagawa ng 19th Congress ngayon.
So with all the things that you have explained, can you categorically say na the senators,
there will be a trial?
The impeachment court is within the due process, within the Constitution, unlike dun sa mga sinasabi ng mga critics, mga legal luminaries na some of the maneuvers that happened during the other day's hearing ay unconstitutional.
Well, ang sasabihin lang ng impeachment court dyan, they have the sole power to try. And under the Nixon versus U.S. case cited in Francisco and Gutierrez case, ang ibig sabihin ng try, walang limitation doon. What the try means. As tayong common people, ang alam natin ng trial, yung nakikita natin sa TV na nagbabakbakan ng abogado. However, for us lawyers, we know na trial is a long process. Meron pang preliminaries dyan.
It's not the actual courtroom drama.
Medyo boring talaga. Maliit lang na porsyento yung talagang bakbakan ng mga abogado. So, kailangan natin ipaintindi sa mga tao na kasama to sa proseso. So, at ang pinakamaganda dyan is umuusad na yung proseso. Yun yung kailangan nating tandaan dyan na nag-convene na yung court, nag-umakto na yung court, at based doon sa interpretasyon nila ng konstitusyon, ng kapangyarihan nila, ito yung pinakamainam na bagay na gawin para magpatuloy yung impeachment trial.
I'd like to ask you about, di ba nag-swear in na yung mga senators as judges, no? Impeachment judge. So, si Senator Amy at saka si Senator Bato gave I think, a speech which was kulang na lang in support of the Dutertes. And I remember a pronouncement ni SB Cheese a few months back saying he warned the senators to try to be impartial in all the things that they say as much as possible because this can cast a shadow of a doubt sa impeachment court. Ngayon, as sworn-in judges and sworn in to be impartial, and after these pronouncements, ano ang pwedeng mangyari sa dalawang nag-pronounce ng support for the Dutertes?
we don't know their actions, no, kung mag-i-inhibit
Pero
sila or whatever.
legally, they cannot inhibit, no? They can't be compelled.
Yes, because if they inhibit, kailangan 2/3 pa rin ng vote ng ng senator judges. So
Based on
hindi
what
naman
computation?
based on the 23.
Regardless if they inhibit.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. Kasi wala yung isa di ba?
Yeah.
So only 23 senators can form a quorum kasi may isang seat na umalis si Senator Angara.
Yeah.
So out of the 23, so kasama pa rin yung number
Kasama
nila
pa rin
doon.
number
Pag
nila.
nag-inhibit sila, hindi naman sila natanggalan ng powers bilang senators.
It's just to try lang.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's also explain also to the public yung debate also na hindi co-equal branch ngayon ang Senate at saka House of Representatives as an impeachment court because of course still yung mga legal luminaries, mga constitutionalists are saying hindi pwedeng ganun kasi co-equal branch. Ang alam natin talaga co-equal branches ang House of Representatives at Senate.
Thank you for asking that, no. Gusto rin nating ipaalala sa mga tao, no, na ang impeachment court ay sui generis. So nakita natin 'yan nung yung impeachment ni ni Chief Justice Corona at saka ni former President Estrada. Nakita natin na sila Senator Judge Miriam Santiago, 'di ba, kinakastigo yung House prosecutors,
Right,
etc.
right.
So that is the usual thing in a courtroom. Araw-araw pag uma-attend kami mga abogado sa courtroom, kahit sino ka pa man, kahit kilalang abogado ka na rin, makakastigo ka at kailangan mong sundin kung ano yung sinasabi ng korte. So dito ang constitution na nagsabi, ang korte ang Senado at ang House ang magpo-prosecute nito. So they are just litigants in this whole process. So hindi siya equal ng katulad ng pagkakakilala natin sa Senado at sa House kapag sila ay nagpo-perform ng legislative function. This is a different function na iba na rin yung dynamics of the two houses.
I'd like to see that kasi the impeachment court sent the request for yung certification, but parang ang wording kasi na ginamit was not to the prosecution team. The clarification was to the House. So therefore, when the impeachment court sent a request for clarification, it seemed like daw sa House that they were instructing the House na they have to comply. Iba daw sana if they were instructing the prosecution team.
Because the House is the litigant, sila yung nag-transmit
So you
ng
cannot
articles of impeachment and they just, of course, hindi kayang umattend ng buong 200 plus congressman sa Senate. So they have to assign the function of prosecuting to the House prosecutors. Okay. So, and as of now, I think wala pang formal entry of appearance yung mga House prosecutors sa impeachment court. They transmitted before an appearance, pero mga around February or March, I think. But it wasn't transmitted or formally filed to the impeachment court kasi wala pang impeachment court at the time. Right. So technically, wala pang prosecution team na nire-recognize ang impeachment court.
Okay.
So you are the spokesperson of the impeachment court recently appointed by Senator Chis Escudero, right? No? Can you walk us through the guidelines of how will the media do the coverage of the impeachment, no? Impeachment trial and all that.
From now until kung may trial na mismo.
I think with what happened in the last few days, no, Senator Judge or Presiding Officer Escudero is of the idea na dapat this is fully covered by the media. Kaya nga free for all. And by assigning a spokesperson, we are already ensuring the public na this process is above board and also it will continue on up to the next Congress. Diba? Kasi they are also mindful of their responsibilities to as much as possible not talk about the merits of the case in public based on the rules of the Senate on impeachment, Rule 18, I think, no? But hindi na siya naging masyadong stickler for the rules doon. kasi nga gusto niya magkaroon ng mas magandang discourse sa publiko. This is the very fact that this process is political. Kasi nga, the public has a say in it because of their fair comment of the acts of public officers compared to the mga ginagawang deliberations ng Supreme Court.
Yes.
Hindi natin napapanood, hindi natin nalalaman. Malalaman na lang natin yung desisyon, di ba? Pero ito, mula sa deliberation, mula sa pag-move hanggang sa pagre-resolve at pagde-decide, mapapanood ng publiko.
So we'll be seeing a lot of you as the impeachment proceeds. Tama naman, ano? Hindi, ikaw yung mas may interview kaysa dun sa mga senator judges.
I think yun yung goal nila.
But I'm not sure also kasi dun sa mga past impeachment cases that we tried before, years ago, mga bata pa tayo.
Oo, mga bata pa tayo eh.
Nag-assign din ba sila ng spokesperson?
Si Jeko lang yung ano yata dun eh.
Nag-assign ba silang spokesperson or sui generis ka rin?
Hindi ko rin maalala. Alam ko si Attorney Karen Jimeno sa depensa dati ni Chief Justice Corona. Pero nung panahon ni Era, bata pa ako eh. May gatas pa kami sa labi.
Whether in trial or not, you're the official spokesperson of the impeachment court. So any issues or questions thereof ngayon kasi nakasinidi na, di ba? So sa'yo idadaan para malinaw lang sa lahat.
At saka hindi naman natin sinasabi na porket meron pang compliance yung House na gagawin, wala nang mangyayari, wala nang ipa-file yung prosecutors or wala nang ipa-file yung defense. Meron nga, katulad ng sinabi ko, yung answer tsaka reply, tapos any motion, kunwari motion for clarification, so magbibigay pa rin tayo ng update sa inyo para doon sa mga proseso na yan, ano yung susunod na action.
Next steps. So,
for them, no delays pa daw.
Lastly, barring any unforeseen circumstances, as of today, as of this hour, tuloy ang trial?
Tuloy.
Okay.
Alright.
Trial proper.
Matutuloy. Katulad ng sinasabi ko, both defense and the prosecution can file any motion pag nag-convene ulit yung impeachment court and magkakaroon ulit either ng deliberations ng debate kung magkakaroon ng motion to dismiss, which is of course any litigator worth his salt.
Yes.
Alam na kagad na yun yung next move, di ba? I mean, as a litigator as well, yun din yung gagawin ko. I mean, I will exhaust all my remedies. So I think the impeachment court naman is wise enough to know na there are certain remedies that both parties can undertake, and we will just cross the bridge when we get there kapag natanggap na yung mga motions.
But very quickly, before we let you go, kasi may mga pending cases na file sa Supreme Court regarding to the constitutionality of this case. Let's say, for example, nag-decide for and against, let's say, 2 scenarios ang Supreme Court, what will happen?
Yan yung pagbobotohan ulit ng impeachment court.
Kasi susunod ba ang impeachment court?
So pwede pagbotohan.
But that is the very reason why the impeachment court decided to take this peculiar, unique, but not unconstitutional action of having a dialogue with the House on the compliance para ma-prevent yung issue na yan na magkaroon ng constitutional crisis.
Yung nga word unusual but not unconstitutional.
But it is also the prerogative of the impeachment court to try to avoid that from happening. And I think the Supreme Court, from the number of months that they haven't decided on the case, is exercising judicial restraint. And the Senate is also exercising its restraint and due diligence in taking care of these articles of impeachment.
Last na quickly lang. So the impeachment court could reject the findings of the Supreme Court if and when it comes to that?
I think it happened already several times during the previous impeachment proceedings.
All right, with that, thank you so much for your time. That was Attorney Reginald Tongol, the spokesperson for the impeachment court. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Don't go away. News and Views will be back after this short break. Good morning. We are the Castros, and you're still watching News and Views here on One News. Lawyer Israelito Torion has filed a supplementary petition asking the Supreme Court to restrain the Senate from proceeding with the impeachment trial. The petition seeks the immediate intervention of the High Court to prevent irreparable harm and preserve Vice President Sara Duterte's constitutional rights. Torion, who is also the lawyer of detained former President Duterte, also asked the SC to declare the impeachment null and void. due to defective articles of impeachment. He filed the petition on Wednesday, a day after the Senate returned the articles of impeachment to the House of Representatives.
Now, several groups have criticized the Senate's move to remand the impeachment articles to the House of Representatives. Here's the report.
Protesters expressed outrage over the recent developments in the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. The demonstrators, composed of groups pushing for Duterte's impeachment, were stopped outside the Senate. While tensions briefly flared, the situation quickly calmed, and the protesters proceeded to hold a program just outside the building. According to Akbayan, the Senate's decision to return the articles of impeachment to the House was an act of sabotage and disrespect. They claim the move violates the Constitution, arguing that the Senate has no power to remand the complaint.
Sa totoo nga, kung ako lang masusunod, dapat wag tayong pumayag na i-return at i-remand. Kasi walang ganyang kapangyarihan ng Senado. Walang sinasabing ganyan sa Konstitusyon, wala sa kanilang sariling House rules.
The Philippine National Police estimated that over 3,000 protesters participated in the rally. All of them voiced their loss of trust in Senate President Chis Escudero following the controversial ruling of the impeachment court. They called on the Senate to act with transparency and impartiality. One of the protesters was Kiko Aquino D., grandson of the late President Cory Aquino and nephew of the late President Noynoy Aquino. D is also one of the complainants in the initial impeachment filing.
Sinabi ng isang kasama natin kagabi, sana po ulo na lang ni Bato yung pinapasa-pasa kasi yun talaga yung hugis bola. Hindi bola po ang impeachment, hindi bola po ang konstitusyon, hindi ito laro.
Representative-elect Laila De Lima also criticized senators who she said have seemingly forgotten their constitutional mandate.
Ni Senator Bato na isa siyang senator judge, para bang nagiging defense counsel na siya. Yung ilan din sa kanila, ganun din. Parang they're already representing the interests of the impeached official or the respondent. So, labag po yan sa konstitusyon.
For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
For updates, we have mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Arles.
Magandang araw sa inyo, Angela at Chego. No? Kahapon nga ay kasama tayo mismo sa pagtitipon ng iba't ibang mga grupo na nagkilos protesta dito sa harapan ng Senado. Marami ang mga dumating dito dahil ito daw ay coalition of coalitions na sila ay nangangalampag nga para kanilang ipahatid sa Senado ang kanilang pagkadismaya sa naging aksyon nito sa pagbalik sa mababang kapulungan ng impeachment case ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Meron naman na dyan naging tugon ang House of Representatives kagabi at inaasahan nga na aaksyon dito agad ang Senado. Pero kasi kinumpirma ni Senate President Chis Escudero na sa 20th Congress na nga ang magiging trial laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Kahapon ay iba't ibang mga personalidad ang nakasama natin dito nga sa rally. Kasama na dyan kanina kahapon no, si dating Senador Leila De Lima, gayon din ang Akbayan Party List Second Nominee na si Percy Sendanya, gayon din sa ikalawang grupo na pinangunahan ng CCGG, nandoon ang mga kumandidato senador nitong nakaraang eleksyon lamang na sina Luke Espiritu at Leody de Guzman. Iisa lamang ang kanilang panawagan ay ang impartiality ng Senado dahil mahalaga daw nagampanan nila ang kanilang tungkulin bilang mga halal ng bayan, hindi para mag-abogado para kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Kasi nga no, nitong papalapit na pagsisimula sana ng impeachment trial, Diego, ay naging bulong-bulungan na nga, naging malaking tanong na din kung kailangan na nga ba mag-inhibit ni na Senator Bato de la Rosa at ng iba pa na mga kaalyado ng mga Duterte dahil inaasahan na to, no? Itong naging motion ni Senator Bato de la Rosa ng ilang mga grupo at nakapanayam natin sila mismo tungkol dyan. Hindi daw dapat na maging ganito ang aksyon ng Senado dahil malinaw naman sa ating konstitusyon na dapat mula sa House of Representatives, pagdating sa Senado ay magsimula na agad ang impeachment trial. Diego.
Alright, what else can we expect to happen today, Arles, Jaan?
Dito ngayon sa Senado, Angela, malinis, no? Nakikita nyo, walang katao-tao kahit sa loob sinubukan nating pumasok at manghingi ng ilang mga updates pero wala raw kasi opisina ngayong araw. At kaninang umaga, matatandaan natin si Senate President Jesus Escudero. Kung di tayo nagkakamali, nagtungo sa Baraswain, no? Pagkatapos nga niyan, mamayang hapon, alas 2 ay magkakaroon din ng iba pang mga pagkilos ang ibang mga progresibong grupo. Alas 2 mamaya sa Shrine para ipanawagan pa rin ang paglilitis para kay Vice President Sara Duterte at simulan na daw ang impeachment trial.
Alright, maraming salamat, mobile journalist Arles de los Santos.
President Bongbong Marcos has declared a state of calamity in Eastern Visayas. This aims to hasten the repair of the San Juanico Bridge and mitigate the impact on the residents of Samar and Leyte. Marcos also ordered the Budget Department to assist in identifying appropriate funding sources for the bridge. The chief executive personally inspected the San Juanico Bridge as he visited Tacloban City on Wednesday.
Now, in other news, electricity bills will go down again this June, with Meralco announcing a 10 centavos per kilowatt-hour reduction in rates. This means that residential customers using 200 to 500 kilowatt-hours a month can expect to save around 22 to 54 pesos on their electric bills. Meralco said the lower rates are mainly due to a drop in generation charges or the cost of purchasing electricity from suppliers. The power distributor also said it is ready for typhoon season with systems and crews in place to respond to storm damage. Meralco reminded the public to prioritize safety during floods by switching off the main breaker, ensuring hands and outlets are dry, and having professionals check damaged wiring before use.
Ang dahilan ng reduction na ito ay ang pagbaba ng singil mula sa aming mga suppliers, gayon din po sa wholesale electricity spot market. Yung taxes at yung other charges ay bahagya din pong bumaba.
In sports, Alas Pilipinas kept their semi-final hopes alive at the ABC Challenge Cup following a dominant win over New Zealand. The national women's volleyball team bounced back from a tough 5-set loss to Iran, sweeping the Kiwis for their third victory in 4 games in Pool B. The Filipinas now face a crucial matchup against Kazakhstan. A win would likely seal their spot in the semis. But if they fall short, they'll need Iran to lose to Mongolia and hope their set and point ratios hold up. Alas returns to the court Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Manila time.
A celebration of Filipino ingenuity and entrepreneurship took center stage once again. Philstar Media Group gathered local brands and bold ideas under one roof for the 4th edition of Nakakalokal. Mobile journalist JF Rivera has the report.
Another year of creativity, collaboration, and community as Philstar Media Group proudly unveiled its 4th edition of Nakakalokal Year 4 Come Together last June 10, 2025 at Casabuenas, Pasay City. From showcasing a variety of local food products, fashion, home design, and lifestyle brands, this year's Nakakalokal aims to uplift, empower, and nurture the development of micro, small, and medium enterprises or MSMEs. In his opening remarks, Mr. Lucien C.D. Tioco, Executive Vice President of Philstar Media Group, recognized the hardship and the growth of each MSMEs that has participated in Nakakalokal throughout its journey.
To our MSMEs, thank you for letting us be part of your growth. And to everyone here, thank you for walking this journey with us. Here's to another year of supporting Filipino creativity, celebrating entrepreneurial spirit, and growing together the Nakakalokal way. Maraming salamat at mabuhay ang gawang Pilipinas.
Kat Bautista, founder of Nima Talent Management, Vanessa Pastor Ledesma, president of Mecanto Central, and Danny Barreto, the founder and CEO of Wellness Whispers, were this year's featured celebrity entrepreneurs or celebpreneurs. On top of that, Philstar Media Group also launched OneCast, an online platform that helps fans get even closer to their favorite local idols. Nakakalokal Year 1 awardee Angelica Marie Manicad of Rapture.ph also shared what it's been like to be part of Nakakalokal from the very beginning all the way to now.
Nabibigyan ho kami ng platform kung saan magkakaroon kami ng space para ibenta yung produkto ho namin at mas ilapit pa sa maraming Pilipino yung mga products ho namin. At the same time, may share sa kanila yung kwento ho ng mga bawat produkto namin.
In an exclusive interview, Mr. Lucian emphasizes the importance of Nakakalokal to all MSMEs.
We're here to promote the small businesses of the entire country to help grow their business through the Nakakalokal program. So nilaunch namin ito together with the other partners para magkaroon ng isang community where a lot of mentoring and creativity can be fostered through this program.
Nakakalokal Year 4 Come Together also aims to raise more awareness of Filipino skills and creativity, and to allow MSMEs the opportunity to share their stories through Nakakalokal Bazaars.
So watch out, panoorin, tangkilikin ang mga produktong Pilipino at look forward to our Nakakalokal Bazaars.
Mobile journalist JF Rivera po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
Amidst all that political noise, huwag natin kalimutan kung ano yung what today is. No?
Araw ng Kasarinlan or Happy Independence
Araw
Day.
ng Kasarinlan. At saka,
On the
diba,
27th.
may sinabi ka sa akin kahapon about si...
Malaya ka na ba?
No, Emilio Aguinaldo na hindi pala siya yung
Oo, contrary to popular belief.
Anong word nun?
Nagwagayway.
Hindi siya nagwagayway ng
nung kanyang watawat sa Kawit Cavite when they declared yung Independence Day.
It was his assistant bar.
June 12, 19, War Counselor.
War Counselor. Pero kasi,
I forgot the name.
Kasi paintings or drawings depicted or pictures depicted.
Parang yung optics kasi it was Emilio Aguinaldo.
Ako na fake news ata. May fake news pala noon pa lang. Ayun, so happy Independence Day to everyone. Wag iinit ang ulo sa mga nangyari. Enjoy the day. And with that, that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunzad Castro.
And I'm definitely Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.